Welcome. Dear students, the current session is going to focus on English as a mother tongue. I hope and expect that by the end of this session, you would be able to understand the status of English as a mother tongue, and you would also be able to understand where it is spoken as a first language in the world. Well, by definition, the language which a person has grown up speaking from early childhood is called mother tongue. This is a definition, by the way, that I have taken from Oxford Living Dictionaries. A language does not, in fact, achieve a genuinely global status until it develops a specialized role in the lives of the people who use it. This role, of course, becomes most obvious when it comes to the use of that particular language as a mother tongue or as a first language. When it comes to English as a first language, there are certain countries where it is used as a first language: USA, Canada, Britain, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, several Caribbean countries, and a scattering of other territories include in the list of those where English is used as a first language. However, English is not restricted in its use as a first language. It is rather also used as a second language or as a third language as well, and it is used as a foreign language as well in a lot of areas of the world. When we talk of English today, English is the second or third most popular mother tongue in the world, with an estimated 350 to 400 million native speakers who use it as a first language. However, best recent estimates of first languages suggest that Mandarin Chinese has around 800 to 850 million native speakers, whereas English and Spanish both have about 330 to 350 each. So, Chinese scores first in the list. When it comes to the third scorer, Hindi speakers number from 180 to 200 million, Bengalis 170 to 180, and so on and so forth. We have Arabic, Portuguese, Russian, and Japanese respectively. However, no language has ever been spoken as a first language in more than a dozen of countries. So, mother tongue use it by itself cannot determine the future of a language in terms of its popularity or in terms of its spread. And it cannot be given the status of a global language only through its use as a first language. This leads to the question, then how does a language get the status of an international language or a language that is used worldwide? The answer is very tricky. It has to be taken up by other countries around the world. How it is to be taken up? Not only as first language, it is rather a three-pronged development. There would be certain countries where it is used as a first language, but more than that, it is used as a second language within many countries where it is used, in the schools, for the education system, etc. And then, most importantly, the role that English language plays, as a foreign language, has played a role in its spread over the times. In fact, the speakers of English as a foreign language surpass or outnumber the speakers of English as, first language. Thus, it is inevitable that a language eventually comes to be used by more people than any other language, and this happens through, the process where it is spoken as first, second, and foreign language. So it is not restricted, in other words, I would say, to its use as a first language only. English, in fact, as a global language, has reached that stage where it is used at all these three levels or in all these three ways by the world. First language speakers are somewhere around 400 million through estimates, and these are actually very, very modest estimates. Those who have learned it as a second language are also difficult to estimate, but there are again somewhere 400 million people who use it as a second language. When it comes to foreign language, again the estimates are uncertain, but there is a lot of a number of people who use it as a foreign language. No one, in fact, knows how many people are learning English, for instance, in China. So, this is a kind of ongoing process where the number is increasing day by day. And, where, the number of speakers as first language does not significantly count as much as it counts as second language users or foreign language users. However, the British Council has estimated that roughly 1 billion people are learning English around the world at any one time. From this, you can understand the speed of the spread of English around the globe. Excluding complete beginners, it would seem reasonable to take 2/3 of these as a guess with whom it would be possible to hold a reasonable conversation in English, which means somewhere around 600 million people can use English comfortably for their everyday usage. All this leads towards a grand total of 1,400 million people using English as a first, second, or a foreign language. In round terms, what we can say that a quarter of the world's population is using English, because if you just look at the population of the world, it is in 2000 that it has turned over to 6,000 million people. So 1/4 of them are using English as a language in some ways or in certain ways. No other language in the world has ever been used in the history like this. No other language is used now in the world currently as so extensively, either numerically or with any such geographical reach.